everyone, welcome back to Jaja Draws. So today we're going to be working on what is this nonsense? I am going to be working on the final drawing uh, for my Mermaid series for Mermay. So I'll be real, I didn't get as many of these done as I wanted to. I had an entire list of maids and I was going to work on all of them. And frankly, life just got away from me. But I am pleased with the ones that I did. So I feel like sometimes, you just gotta accept that you got to do something cool, even if you didn't get to do as much as you wanted to. So today I'm working on Maid service, which I thought was funny, and I chose a goldfish for maid service. You'll see that I really went pretty heavily into the goldfish for inspiration on her features and stuff like that. I really wanted goldfish have those giant bulbous eyes, so I drew much larger eyes than I normally would, and they've got, the very snouty face with the big open mouth. So I gave her both of those. And then goldfish also have their faces come to those points with the bulbous eyes, but they've got big old fat bodies. So I gave her like a wider body, but not like heavy set, just like shaped differently. I was really pleased with how she turned out. And then I gave her a cute little polo shirt with a little logo on it. It says MM because I figure, her cleaning service is probably called like the Maids Del Mar or something. It was really fun drawing her. I'm trying really hard to get better at drawing realistic and proportional things, but it is really fun drawing things that you're not necessarily 100% invested in looking proportional. Like I just going for it with the giant eyes, and I gave her that crazy ponytail that mimics the like dorsal fin of the goldfish. So when I was giving her accessories, I tried to think about what a cleaning service under the sea would need. So she's got her little basket of cleaning supplies, which is like a bottled, I guess I figured it would be like a bottled cleaning solution, and a sponge, because duh, you'd use a sponge for cleaning under the ocean. And then I drew like some little green, well, they'll be green later, lumps in there that I figured like maybe you'd use kelp, some rough kelp to scrub things or something. I don't know. But I figured, you wouldn't use a basket or a bucket in the ocean. That wouldn't make any sense. So I made it a net basket, which would let the water pass through to sort of keep it from dragging when you swam around. And then the other thing that I gave her, instead of a broom or a mop, which a land maid would have, I gave her a net because, if you're trying to clean something out in the water, you net it and pull it away. And that just seems sensible to me. Maybe she nets things out of the ocean and then like flips them up onto dry land, and that's where Flotsam and Jetsam on the beach come from. It's just things that the cleaning service of the ocean have netted and thrown onto dry land. Yeah, and we totally deserve it because wow, do we throw a lot of trash in the ocean. But I digress. Out of all the things in this picture, I actually was really, really pleased with the drawing of her net. It was something that I did without thinking about too much. My dad is from Florida and my family lives in Nicaragua now. And so I have, even though I live in Massachusetts, I have a decent amount of experience with like pools and pool maintenance. Um, and I had never really thought about it, but I guess I know the way that nets look. Um, so I was just really, I don't know, I was really proud of drawing something that looked vaguely accurate to a three-dimensional netting that moved and flowed and wasn't stiff. Uh, which is weird that the net was the thing that I felt like turned out the best. But there you have it. I was also really pleased with her hands in the end because because I feel like I'm getting to a place where the hands that I draw are not hyper realistic, but they're getting much they look less weird when I draw them. Like they represent what I want them to represent, and I generally put the fingers in the right place, um, which was a big problem for me for a really long time. Like, it's bizarrely difficult to get the fingers in the right place. Uh, I did not love the way her little, uh, what are those, dorsal fins turned out. Where I did look at Goldfish references for this. Those are the placement. They've got two little side fins, and then they've got two underneath, and then the big fluke in the back. But there was something about the placement on the one that's on her right side, so on the left side of the drawing. I felt like I had a very difficult time figuring out the orientation of her lower half. Like the way I drew it, it's almost like her hips are turned slightly to her right so that she's twisted away from us, but then I didn't draw it like she was twisted. Anyway, um, you know, we all have things we need to improve on, but that was something that I didn't love about this drawing. I chose yellows and oranges for her skin and fins. And I was actually really pleased with the tonality of it, as she read very much like a goldfish in coloration when I was done. I really do feel like practicing with these colors that are not normal skin tones has made me a little bit less trepidatious about drawing shadows and things with a bold hand. So I have been really pleased with that as I work through it. I mostly use my Ohuhus and my Art and Fly for this. I do end up grabbing later. I was looking at coloration from reference images, and I did end up grabbing the cocoa color from my skin tone set because it's just a very, very pale, almost ivory color. And I needed something like that for right down what would be the center front of her body. But almost entirely Ohuhus and my pastel Art and Flies. And I did really like the rich saturate colors. I really wish I had some more pastels in my sets, because I think a paler yellow, not a lighter yellow in tone, but like a desaturate yellow would have been really nice. But anyway, I was pretty pleased with how she came out in the end. I picked the yellows for her skin and the oranges for her hair and tail, not only because I really love the goldfish who are colored like koi, so I really wanted to attempt to go for that with the tail, although you'll see in a little bit I don't know, I had only moderate success with that. But I wanted to break things up in terms of tone in that fashion because I thought it would look good that way. I did attempt to go for a slightly lighter tone in her hair, and I don't know, it ended up working out. but I do feel like her hair and her face weren't quite as separated in color as I would have liked. Um, Although I did end up loving sort of the way her hair looked, the tonal contrasts of that. And one of the reasons why her hair and her face end up looking so similar is that when I went for the eyes, I did decide to go with oranges. I kept everything in this sort of monochromatic color palette, which right now, as you're looking at it, when she's got the white eyes and I haven't colored them in yet, the hair looks much more distinct because of the intense shadows that you get from that super saturated orange. But then as soon as her eyes were also orange, a lot of that contrast faded away. But I don't regret it because I actually really ended up loving the way her eyes looked. So, such is life. Um, I think I'm about to start coloring the tail. Yeah, okay. So here's where, oh, this I was really pleased with. I was really pleased with the coloring of her flukes. I did take some time to look carefully at the goldfish, and they have a sort of these strongly colored ribs in all of their fins, and then the membranes between them are paler and more translucent. And when I went in with that strong orange and then came back with the paler orange and the deeper yellow, I was just really, really pleased with how that segment turned out. And I did some shading up and down. But it's, I guess, one of the things that I've been working on and that I'm definitely seeing progress in is, I don't know how to put this. It's not impressionism because impressionism is different, but like representational coloring instead of so just like when you do line art and you learn to draw what you see instead of what you know is there, color for me has been very similar. Learning to color the way it looks instead of what I know is there. That's been something that I feel like I've been making progress on, and I feel like it really improves the final quality of my drawing when, instead of being a stickler for like, oh, I know this is what it is, so I'm going to color it like this, I do something more representational. Okay, so we're about to get to her tail. Okay, I was so pleased with this pattern that I just sort of freehanded on here to look like a koi. So pleased on that pattern on her right side. But then I made a tactical error, which is that I tried to come in and mimic it on the left without really thinking over how it would appear. And that was just super stupid of me. And it threw the balance off completely. I go back and I correct it. This does not stay this unbalanced. But if you look at it right now, you'll see like she just looks completely twisted. And I do wish that I had gone ahead and said, okay, she's asymmetrical and just really leaned into the asymmetry. Because I think I would have been happier with the overall end result if I had gone with that, but I didn't. And sometimes, you can't go back and fix things. So I didn't hate the way it ended up, but it ended up reminding me less of the koi with their blotchy, like, they have this blotchy, it's almost like on land animals when you get like a cheetah print or a tiger pattern or something, like they have this very distinctive blotchy scale pattern and texture, and I didn't get that in the end. In the end, it just sort of looked like a goldfish that was going to lighter scale on the belly, which wasn't bad. I mean, the goldfish was the inspiration. I really love the koi, and I thought that koi looked cool, so I really liked the way adding in some contrasting scales looked. I haven't tried that before, but it really helped. I felt like it really helped bring together the sort of shading coming down to those other scales. So I was really pleased with that. When I went in for the basket, I was, I probably could have done a better job here. I really just wanted to go for a sea glass color for the bottle and then, green for the kelp and like a sponge color for the sponge. I was aware at this point, originally I'd been planning on coloring her shirt blue because I thought that would contrast nicely with the orange. But haha, I did remember, instead of being really stupid this time, that I wanted to draw a background for her, and that background, was probably going to want that background to be blue because she's underwater. So instead of coloring her shirt blue, which would have just been catastrophic, I did choose a pink with a purple contrasting or shading tone for her shirt, and I was really pleased with the way that turned out. I thought it was really pretty in the end. It contrasts really well with the blue. It looks great with her color palette, and it was so, maid service, like to have them in a pink polo shirt, like it's just so cute. I love it. So I was pleased with my color palette, but I felt like I kind of phoned it in on the basket. Like the things in there are really muddled. You can't tell that they're supposed to be cleaning supplies. It doesn't super matter because obviously she's the main focus, and it's not like I wanted to detract from that. But particularly once the blue background goes on there, like it's just really hard to see the bottle and the kelp. You can see the sponge, and that's about it. And then the rest of it just looks like a muddled mess. But aside from my color choices of the things in her cleaning basket, I just love this palette so much. It's really vibrant and beautiful and just, it's lovely. When I went in to do the background, I thought it would be cool to kind of go for bubbles because, like she's underwater. So instead of trying for a single shape, I did two circles that encompassed most but not all of her body, and bubbles. So it was like two bubbles around her. And then I marked out and left some white space for some white bubbles that would be rising up through the blue. Oh, I just realized I should have also done some like little blue bubbles on the outside. That would have been cool, but I didn't do that. The best laid plans. Oh well, such is life. And then that's pretty much it. I colored in the background. Once again, shout out to that chisel tip, which I almost never use, but boy, do I love it when I have to color in large areas. This is gonna sound weird because, like, when people are proud about weird things, but I was actually really proud when I did the background here. I did a really good job edging everything and not going over anything. And then I went in with some white. I just wanted to get a little bit of pops. I did go in and put some white bubbles in the blue. I really liked how I did the background here. It's so simple, but it's really effective. I gave her little eye highlights, a little bit of shiny on the boobs because they catch the light, and a little bit of highlight on her scales. And that is my finished mermaid. So I hope you guys have had a good time with Mermay. I'm not 100% sure what my next art project is going to be, but I will definitely have one. Oh my goodness, I really need to sneeze right now, and I really don't want to because I'm recording.